Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the New Hampshire State Lottery, helping New Hampshire schools one ticket at a time. WNDS Sports presents New England's favorite bowling show. From Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Featuring the best bowlers from around the region. Candlepin Stars and Strikes. And now your hosts, Dick Lutz and Mike Moore.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moore, and it's our final ladder series of the season. We are looking for one last participant in the Tournament of Champions.
We are indeed. Let me just refresh your memory as to who those bowlers are. The 5 that have secured their positions include last week's winner, Shawn Baker, at an amazing 451. Jeff Surratt is second, Rich Lottie is third, Dave Hodge is fourth, and John Winchell currently sitting in position number 5.
Over the course of the next 4 weeks, you're going to see 5 of the greatest Candlepin bowlers in the world looking for that last spot in the TFC at the end of the year. Let's meet our first two first. Our number 5 seed from Randolph, Massachusetts. Let's welcome back Bob Anderson.
Good to have Bob back, averaging 116. High single of 183. High triple is 445, bowling at O'Lindy's in Quincy and 20th Century in Hyde Park, also called the Ice Cream Lanes.
And Bob rolled a 644 in the roll-off to earn the number 5 seed. He will be taking on one of the regulars on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Plastow, New Hampshire. We say hello to Gary "Babe" Carrington.
Gary Carrington was here last week, 420, but it wasn't good enough to win. So hopefully better luck to him this time. Average 133. High single 196. Gary's high triple is 499, and he bowls out of Park Place and in the Traveling Pro League as well.
And Gary had a 663 in the roll-off to earn the number 4 seed. It's Bob Anderson and Gary Carrington. We're coming right back for this afternoon's match right after this on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. One of these 5 bowlers will be joining 5 others in the Tournament of Champions. And who will it be? Will it be Bob Anderson, Gary Carrington, John Plant, John Zappi, or Dan Allard? We begin finding out this afternoon when Bob Anderson will be first to bowl in his match with Gary Carrington. And we're set to go at Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. We have seen some just spectacular bowling over the past few weeks.
We have, Dick, and we're getting a lot of email. People are really responding to the high scores and the close matches.
Bob Anderson from Randolph, Massachusetts, our first bowler here this afternoon. Bob was on a few years ago on Candlepin Stars and Strikes back in 1999. And look at this shot for a spare. Will he make it go? It wobbles, but it stands. Bob drives a truck for Goldman Paper. He's 46 years old, and he starts out with a 9 box. Another great crowd on hand at Leda Lanes as we head toward the Tournament of Champions. $525 in the triple strike jackpot. Good first ball right on the head pin and right through.
It's a spread eagle with an extra piece of wood, the 9 on the right-hand side, but he's got some wood to work with against the 2-pin.
Got a shot at it. Oh, he played it well.
Best you can do with that shot.
John and his wife Roseanne have been married for 23 years. They have a couple of sons, John 20 and Jimmy 18. It's attending WPI, Worcester Tech. The last time on WNDS TV as a number 3 seed, he defeated Joe Stella, then lost to Joe Tavernese 378 to 344 back in December of 1999.
It is not easy to get on the show to make it into the final 5, and that's why some guys only make it every couple of years. Some don't try out as often as others do. And this, Dick, this is the 3rd consecutive ladder we've seen Gary Carrington.
He's determined, isn't he?
One last chance to get into the coveted top 6 positions for the Tournament of Champions.
With the spare, Gary Carrington starts off. Gary with an average of 133, a high single of 196. Rolled a 499 recently on the Sunday morning mixed league at Park Place. Just missed that 500. He's been bowling a long time. He threw that one away, and he knew it. Just a 4 in the mark.
No wood to help him out.
Wood, who needs wood? He almost made the shot. He's been on the Channel 50 show around 40 times, on the old Channel 5 show around 40 times, so he's been on TV a lot, and he puts a 10 box on the board. An early 7-pin lead for Gary Carrington. Gary has a couple of sons, Matt, 21, a junior at UNH, Mike, the 14-year-old 9th grader at Timberlane. Both boys have been junior state bowling champions. There's Bob Anderson with a good first ball.
Still in the ball.
5-7 with a piece of wood.
Throwing the ball really well, but he's not had any breaks yet.
We have lots of letters and emails to get to. Over the course of the next 4 weeks, we'll try to get to as many as we can. And that's a 9 box for Bob Anderson.
Looking for his first mark of the day. He's got a 9, an 8, and a 9 so far.
Another good first ball right on the nose, a little too full, though. Maurice Rochette of Stratham, New Hampshire writes, Mike, he wants to tell us how much he enjoys Candlepin Stars and Strikes. He's 87 years old, not able to bowl because of a bad left knee. But he noted we were talking about what expression was used when all 4 pins are left in the back row. What do they call it?
Oh, yeah. What does he call it?
He said we used to call it Grandma's teeth. I never heard that one before.
Well, I've heard of that one, but usually there might be 3 in the row and 1 missing, you know, as if Grandma didn't have all her teeth. But that works, too.
9 box for Bob Anderson, looking for his first mark. Now, that's an expression I really don't recall ever hearing. Yep.
Oh.
Also, we were recalling duck pins. Have we ever heard of barrel pins?
No.
They're about the diameter of a candlepin, but the form of a miniature barrel about 8 inches high. And he remembers those when he lived in Flushing, New York. Thank you to Maurice Rochette of Stratham, New Hampshire.
I wonder what era that would have been. Barrel pins?
Barrel pins. Not familiar with.
Wow. Well, there's so many variations of the game of bowling. Candlepin is just one of many.
$10 for Gary. Some of the notes sent in are somewhat repetitive, and we'll just kind of acknowledge receipt of the communication. Gary missed the head pin, 4 horsemen left side. Gary was at the Rock and Bowl at Pilgrim Lanes. Mike and I participated. Another great turnout, another terrific fundraisers to send the young bowlers to Canada.
Oh, look at this.
Gary Angelotti was telling me that they had perhaps one of their most successful fundraising events in the history of the fundraiser, and it was just great to be part of it. So many great kids.
They raised, I think, about 30% more than last year. And in the coming weeks, we'll tell you more about it. We're going to show you a little video today of just some of the things that happened. Then the much-anticipated grudge match, you'll begin seeing that 2 frames at a time for the 5 weeks of the Tournament of Champions. And let me just say that you will be amazed at the performance of one of your 2 announcers here. We won't say who or what, but it was quite a sight. We'll leave it there.
We'll make them wait.
Yeah.
Bob's almost made a couple of splits. He's been close, but still not able to mark.
And Gary's waiting for him here.
And that will be a 10 box.
I guess about a month or 2 ago, we were talking about the fact there doesn't seem to be anybody in the Candlepin machinery business, and I was corrected Sunday when I met one of the employees of Candlepin Sales and Parts Company. They are out of Georgetown, and they pretty much rehab and make new parts for a lot of the Bowlmore machines that have been around, it seems, for 40 and 50 years, because these things do eventually break down, but they were quality machines. So thanks to Candlepin Sales and Parts, doing lots of good work, keeping Candlepin Bowling proprietors in business with their remakes and retooling of various parts.
And they have a new pin setter? Is that what that says on the card? New Z4 pin setter.
New Z4 pin setter.
Wow. 8 box for Bob Anderson. He's at 53. I do want to say that prior to the grudge match, I did warm up once. Just once. At Lakeside Lanes.
Oh, Tim Lipke's,
Yep.
Tim and Wendy's.
And I want to thank Bob Greco, Doug McKay, Bob Juneau. They were there the day that I bowled. And I want to send regards to Tim Lipke. Look at the shot by Gary Carrington. And Gary makes things happen. Somehow it doesn't look like it's going to happen, but he makes things happen. Now, it looked like he had no chance right there, didn't it? And they just kept on going. Now on the spare, he only puts 4 in the spare. That's the second mark in the string for Gary, and the second time he's put 4 in the mark. And those fellows at Lakeside had great things to say about the show. They watch it all the time. They just think it's a great thing for Candlepin Bowling, and they're very appreciative of the promotion that we give the game of Candlepin Bowling. And I want to say that the night I was there, the place was packed, and it's great. And while it was the only time I warmed up before the grudge match, it wasn't the only time I tried to warm up.
Oh, you could get lanes?
My brother and I went to Fast Lanes in Stowe, right? And we went to Acton.
Yep.
And we couldn't get in either place.
When did you go, on a Sunday?
Yeah, on a Sunday afternoon. There's a strike for Bob Anderson.
Long overdue. He's been pounding the head pin frame after frame, and Bob Anderson's got his first strike.
Look at that, right in the pocket, right in the 1-3 pocket, and a great strike for Bob Anderson. So while it was disappointing that we couldn't get in to bowl, it was really terrific to see. There's right another one. Yo, 2 in a row. So after going 6 frames without a mark, Bob Anderson has doubled up, and he'll be shooting for $525 when he steps to the line next.
Well, we gave away a whole bunch of money last week, Dick, to Shawn Baker.
Gary off the head pin, but he's got a makeable shot here with the 1-3-6. No wood to help out.
Shawn Baker had a 4-bagger, the first that we've seen in 7 years. He won $1,175 for that great feat.
It was a $3,000 plus payday overall for
Pretty
Shawn.
close to that, yeah, very close to that when he beat Gary Carrington last week, 451 to 420. Prior to that, Gary Carrington defeated by Jeff Surratt, 438 to 421.
The scores were crazy.
And then the time before that, I'll see if I can find it.
Look at this. Look at this. Gary threw a terrible first ball, and they started coming back door. And now he's got the 1-7 with wood surrounding the 7-pin. This shot goes. Missed it. Missed the head pin.
Not by much.
So Gary will be open. And now Bob Anderson with a chance to take the lead. That'll be a 10 box. So this is a $525 shot coming up for Bob Anderson right now.
I don't think we've ever given the money away 2 weeks in a row. The triple strike jackpot, that
on
is.
lane 34. Here we go. For $525. He threw it right at that pocket. He was a little bit thin.
He has now taken the lead from Gary Carrington.
Now this is a $50 shot. He missed it. You can hear him. Oh, he got it back door. $50 shot for Bob Anderson. Look at that. He's not even close to where he wanted it to be. And the wood kicked off the wall. 3 marks in a row. $50 shot. Now this is another $25 shot for another mark in a row. Doesn't do it. Spread eagle, just 4 in the mark there.
That's raining on his pin parade, isn't it?
Right through the middle. A 6 box and a 120 first string for Bob Anderson. After a 45 half, that's not too shabby.
Boy, that's for sure. Pounding the head pin like crazy. Not getting any breaks until the double strike.
Got another note here from Donald Mills of South Boston. There's a strike for Gary Carrington. Watch it again. There they go. We hear from Donald Mills a lot over the years with some constructive criticism and some suggestions, and This time he writes, he can honestly say that Stars and Strikes has become more popular in South Boston than Boston baked beans.
Is that a compliment or not?
I think it is. I'm going to assume it is a compliment.
No.
Gary finishes with a 115 in the first string. So a 120 for Anderson, a 115 for Gary Carrington. Don't go away. We're coming right back for the second string when we return to Leda Lanes for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Gary Carrington trailing Bob Anderson by 5 pins as we get ready to start the second string at Leda Lanes in Nashville. 120 to 115, the first string score. Bob Anderson had the shot at the triple strike jackpot. Threw a good third ball, but was not able to convert. But a good second half for Anderson in that first string. And that'll be a 9 box for Gary to start out.
Mailman has been busy in our WNDS mailroom, huh?
Lots of stuff. I got an article from the Recorder in Greenfield, Massachusetts that was sent to us by Eileen Bolduc of Orange, Mass, which is out near, up beyond Barrie.
It's out Route 2, isn't it?
It's out that direction, yes. It's Orange is famous for its parachuting. They have an airport out there that brings in parachuters.
Is that right?
You know, from all over the world. And this article talks about the Shelburne Falls area businesses and a picture of the bowling alley, the Shelburne Falls Bowling Alley, formerly J.K. Lanes. And a young couple that is attempting to run it and make a go of it. And it's kind of an interesting article.
It's owned by a couple of women, right?
Yep, Tammy Dubuque and Joanne Gollin, new owners of the Shelburne Falls Bowling Alley.
Begs the question, are there any other bowling centers owned by women?
It's an 8-lane facility.
In fact, I know there are. There aren't that many, but I've known of a few in the past.
That's kind of an interesting article. There's Bob Anderson, a good first ball. There it goes.
So it's strike or bust for Mr. Anderson today. He's had 1 spare and 3 strikes.
There it goes again. Gary Carrington on lane 34. The pins seem alive today.
They do indeed, and Gary's getting nothing but splits this game.
This article talks about several businesses in the Shelburne Falls area, and it talks about on Memorial Drive and back of Bridge Street, the former KJ Lanes, owned by Judith and Ronald Weller, has been bought by Joanne Gollin and Tammy Dubuque and renamed the Shelburne Falls Bowling Alley. And then there's an ad for the bowling alley in the that's also included. Be curious to know how they're doing. Hope they're doing well.
Congratulations on your new business venture and entrepreneurial spirit that's going to keep Candlepin Bowling going, because there's no national publicity to help it get national sponsorship, which helps create bigger purses for better tournaments. Oh,
that pin knocked it away.
Roadblock.
Eileen also sent in a cartoon which I happened to see, and I meant to cut out myself, and I forgot, but I'm glad she sent it to me. It's the Family Circus from February 2nd, with the youngster sitting in front of the television set. The caption says, "I wish you'd run for president, Daddy." The White House has a swimming pool, a bowling alley, and a movie theater.
And that's true. Richard Nixon was very well known for doing some bowling in the White House lanes, and always with his tie on, of course. He'd be taking a walk out on the beach in California with a suit and tie.
Just 6 in the strike. 9 box.
$200 going to the bowler who does not win today.
Good first ball right there. The 5 pin's going to stand.
Going to meet a fresh face next week, Dick, and the number 3 seed who will meet today's winner, John Plant, will be here. John Plant, the number 3 seed. He is from Lowell, Massachusetts. Haven't had too many Lowell bowlers on that I can recall lately.
And a mark for Bob Anderson as we go to the break. Bob has the lead over Gary Carrington. We're coming right back to Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Gary Carrington ready to bowl on lane 34. He's looking for his first mark of the 2nd string as we welcome you back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. Rob Faze, the production manager for Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Kevin LaFond is our director. Jonathan Barraza's on replay. Alex Kallistoff's on audio. Keith Webb's the engineer today. Eric Angra, Brett Bossy, and Joe Began, our camera crew, making it all possible for you to watch the finest Candlepin bowlers in the world each and every week on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS.
Some of the bowlers that didn't make our show but came close include number 6, because we only take the top 5. Joe Taverny's missing the cut by 24 pins in 6th place. Sam D'Agostino and Mark Gregory tying for 7th. Chris Sargent, Dave Richards in the top 10. Steve Vadney, who's had great success on the senior professional Candlepin Tour, at 11. Bruno DeFeo, Bart Medeiros, the great coach at Pilgrim Lanes at 14th, did not make the show. He'll be here one of these days.
Nice shot by Gary Carrington.
Mike Morgan, 18th. Bob Cleary, 19th. Dean Sullivan rounding out the top 20 of gentlemen that did not make the cut. Well, there's a 7 fill on Bob Anderson's 4th frame spare, extending his lead in this game over Gary Carrington. But misses the easy spare, leaving the object pin.
And 10 bucks. Ellen DeLong from Worcester writes in that we've been pointing out the fact that no 4th place seed has ever won.
That's true.
A ladder.
Since we've been doing the show.
And she says, well, maybe it's because he's so tired, has to bowl so many matches. Well, that same holds true for the 5th place seed as well. He would have to bowl as many matches. But the 5th place seed has come back to win.
Exactly.
And a strike by Bob Anderson.
It's just a statistical, you know, interesting point, I think. And I pointed that out to Gary when I saw him a couple days ago. He said, well, he's planning on changing that.
Gary with a 9 in the spare opportunity.
Gary's been on 3 ladders in a row. He was a 5th seed, then a top seed, and this time a seed number 4.
2 marks in a row for Gary Carrington. Gary is one of the explosive bowlers. He can really put a lot of pins.
He's cagey. I like to use the word cagey.
Yeah, cagey is a good word. The pressure does not bother him. He thrives on it. He threw that one past the head pin, but he's got a pretty good drop. An 8-pin fill in the spare.
Missed the head pin a lot today to the right-hand side on that lane in particular.
Missed it. Picked the pin off it. Gary's a little bit upset with himself on that one. He'll take a 10 box.
He is pretty unflappable, though. I mean, he withstands the ups and the downs, maintains a pretty even demeanor, the mark of a true professional. That was a kind of a sour hit on the Brooklyn side. 5, 8, 10.
Still another ball to fill the strike. Eight goes in the strike. And a 9 box. So he's added 4 pins to his lead. And he's up against an open frame for Gary Carrington.
Well, there's the dinner bucket and the 7-pin over on the left-hand side, or the diamond if you prefer. Goes to the left of the object pin, which was the 2. It's an 8-pin lead in the match for Bob Anderson as we run into the last 2 boxes of the second game.
Nice note from Peg Webster from Wilmington. Sent in a couple of newspaper articles about bowling. Whoop, Gary Carrington, will it go? Yes, it will. Never turn your back on the pins while they're still moving on the deck. There it goes. A lot of bowlers might have missed that strike. Gary right on the head pin there, but he's got a split. At least so far he's got the split. Will it go? It will not. A lot of wood there. A lot of wood on the deck. This makes this doable. He's going right at it. Oh, he will get it. Yes. Like I said, never turn your back on the pins. Back-to-back marks. He just busted him up and sprayed the wood. That came out of the gutter. That 7-pin. Came all the way across. And on the spare, he will put 9. A strong finish for Gary Carrington at a 134. He's looking for some bonus money right there, but he's not going to get it. 134 second string for Gary, a strong finish. He had 4 marks in the final 5 boxes. After a 48 half, he has a 134. Bob Anderson now to respond. Good first ball for Bob. Peg Webster writes that she's been watching bowling for a long time, and she heard that Stacia Zernicke received so much money on her high-low jack conversions on Channel 5 that she furnished a whole room. Keep up the good work. Peg Webster. Thank you, Peg. Tony's here. We'll ask him about that.
I was just thinking the same thing. He's in attendance today. Tony will be 83 in May, and he still makes it up to see the show whenever he can, and he's a living history book about this wonderful game of Candlepin bowling, being the husband of the late Stacia Zernicke. How did that 6-pin stay up?
It's still there.
My. Now he's now going to be coming out of a bit of a hole, Bob Anderson will, as we start the 3rd string momentarily.
Peg Webster sent in a couple of articles that we've seen before had been sent to us. One about the Colonial Bowling Alley in Worcester, and another that was part of the Globe special section on bowling from a couple of months ago. So thanks to Peg Webster for sending that in. It's not a good first ball to put in the spare. Look at that. They're still following, though. And he'll put 5 in the mark and finish with a 121 second string. So the lead changes hands. Gary Carrington now with an 8-pin lead after 2 strings. Headed to the final string when we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua. You are watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. For the past 11 years, Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill has hosted the Rock and Bowl on Sundays. It's a fundraiser to send kids to competition in Canada. Mike has been involved with it for full 11 years, and he and I have been doing our grudge match for 5 years. And this past Sunday, we were there, and it was just great.
It was a great time, raising about $1,200 more than last year. Cost a lot of money. I think 80, 90 kids are going to go up on buses later in the month of March and bowl against their Canadian junior counterparts. And it's just a good way to bring kids together from 2 countries for what we consider to be the greatest sport in the world. There's some Cecile there with Shawn Baker. There's Matt Carrington. And who's that fellow there? Pulling me by the pants.
We had a great time. I enjoy being there. I enjoy the camaraderie. The kids are terrific. There's Babe Carrington with one of the young bowlers, and it's just a fun time, and it's a great cause, and we look forward to it every year. And it was just a a real honor to be there again at Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill for this year's Rock and Bowl, and we'll be talking more about it. You'll see more about it during the Tournament of Champions competition when we show the grudge match, 2 boxes at a time over the 5 weeks of the Tournament of Champions.
And this year they made some money off it because people could wager on who would win, either you or me, and they could win prizes if the person they picked, won. So they raised quite a bit of money. So it's turned out to be fun for you and me, and for the fans now. They're making some money off of it.
A great event.
It's all legal.
And the Angelotti family does a great job.
Don't they, though?
Yeah.
Sil Angelotti, of course, the proprietor, and his family and employees. Boy, they roll out the red carpet, literally turn the bowling center over for 4 hours like that. They don't make a penny off of it. Thank you to them.
A 9 for Bob Anderson to start out. Can he break up the split?
He'd like more of an angle on that pin. Now it's drifting away. 3 in the 7. That was a good try. 7-pin remains. It's an 8-pin match beginning the 3rd and final string. To see who goes on to next week. John Plant awaits.
19 for Bob Anderson through the first 2 boxes. He's going to need to mark because Gary Carrington has the lead. Sherry Jason from Newmarket, New Hampshire writes in, I love the show. I'm a bowler from way back in my hometown of North Chelmsford. She was in Duck Pin League for 10 years, way back. It was then called Dinnigan's. And she also loves candlepins. And nice note reminiscing about some of the great old bowlers that were on TV for many years, and a real Candlepin bowling fan. And she concludes the note by saying, let's go bowling.
See what you started, Dick? Talking about the old timers, the 5th Senior Professional Candlepin Bowling Association Tour was held at Mohegan Bowl in Webster in February, and our old friend Rich Hawk Hallistick was the winner of that tournament. Congratulations to him.
Spread eagle +1. You've got the 9-pin behind the 3-pin. So you've got the 2, 4, 7 on the left, 3, 6, 9, 10 on the right, and he just picks 1.
Want to acknowledge the women's division in the SPCBA. Mary Mazinski of East Hampton was the winner. Congratulations to both she and Rich. Back in February.
Good 8-pin out for Gary Carrington, and the match gets a little closer. It's now a 6-pin lead for Carrington over Bob Anderson with 8 boxes remaining. The winner meets John Plant next week. Bob with a head pin hit, a little thin on the Brooklyn side. Tough shot here. The 3 and the 9 on the right. The 7 on the left. That piece of wood out in front of the 7. I'm not sure how it factors in.
You almost have to use it, though.
Take a shot with it, yeah.
No chance with the sleeper wood there.
Well, he tried to hit the right end of the wood and missed it. So they're all still standing. And he takes an 8-box. Penny and Greg Arsenault from Milford, New Hampshire sent an email. We want to thank you for all the years of Candlepin bowling. The most recent lattice series have not only been entertaining, but edge of the seat competition. They have, really. Wow, they say. And we really appreciate the fact that should we miss a Sunday, which is rare, we could catch up to the action with your Saturday repeat of the previous Sunday. If you weren't aware of that, that's how it works. Thank you very much, Penny and Greg Arsenault from Milford, New Hampshire, for your nice email. They conclude, keep up the great work. Bob is running into tough luck here.
But Gary's keeping the door open for him.
That's going to be an 8-box for Bob Anderson. Neither bowler able to mark yet here in the 3rd string as Gary Carrington steps to the line.
You'll like this email, Dick, because I know you'll remember us talking about it. It's from Bob in Acton. Enjoy watching your show on Saturdays. On today's show, you spoke of prices a long way back and mentioned 6 strings for $1. I got that beat. In the late 30s and early 40s, we bowled for $0.10 a string in the Huntington alleys in Boston. That was back when there were pin boys before automation. Keep up the good work. $0.10 a string.
You remember that, Mike, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Gary just picked 1 of the 4-pin cluster. Look what he's got back there. He's got Grandma's teeth, -1.
You like that expression, huh?
A 7-box for Gary Carrington. Well, neither bowler is really taking charge.
Yeah, no marks the string yet.
That's a good first ball by Gary Carrington right there, and a 9-pin drop. The 5-pin stands. Chance for a mark. Right on the 5-pin. Gary Carrington covers that and has the first mark of the match. He'll increase his lead, and Bob Anderson will try to chip away at it when we return to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Heading down the home stretch, it's Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Bob Anderson ready to go on lane 34. He trails by 7 pins, and Gary Carrington also has a ball to fill a spare, so it's should be more than 10 pins. And here they go. The strike for Bob Anderson. From an artistic standpoint, it was not picturesque, but it goes in the books as a line drive, as they say. You watch the 3, 6, and 10 on the right side. There, they're still standing. They're still standing, and there they go. Now on the strike, he threw it past the head pin. But he's got a good piece of wood back there between the 9 and the 10. The 5-pin is a key pin here. He's got to hit the head pin, but the 5-pin's the sleeper. Got a shot at it, missed it. Well, missed it at least so far. It was the 3-pin that didn't go. He hit it too full on the head pin. And a 9-box. Every pin becomes important here in a close match like this.
Gary Carrington has 8 WCBC titles, most recent coming earlier this year. Bowler of the Year in 93 and 94. Last year ranked number 8 on the WCBC ratings of bowlers. Holds the 25 and 30 string record for total pins in both those categories in the WCBC.
Just a 2-pin fill on a half Worcester for Gary Carrington, and a spare. And you saw Gary's reaction to the spare. Wow. Gary liked that shot. After a half Worcester, he converts the spare. Great ball for Gary Carrington, and it was up against the Bob Anderson strike. That's a good first ball, too. Look what he's got to show for it, though. He's got a piece of wood that makes this a little bit more makeable.
Yeah, it's not as good as you think because it's got 3 pins to plow through, which makes it tough, but at least the angle is good.
Got a shot at it. There it goes. $50 shot for Gary Carrington. Watch it again. He played the wood perfectly, and they all plowed into the 10-pin.
Because if you don't play that one right, yeah, you still end up with two pins up there probably.
First bonus money of the match for Gary. 3 marks in a row. Bob Anderson needs to mark. He was right on the head pin, a little bit too full. He's got the 3, 5, 6, and 10. Not going to make the shot. He'll be open. And he's going to run out of boxes. He needs to put some marks on the board. That'll be a 9-box. Bill from Leicester writes, I've been watching your show for about a year now with my dad on Sundays. We're always making remarks about how fast different bowlers fire the ball down the lane or how fast a strike goes down. I was wondering if you thought about a radar gun for ball speed or a second clock on your replays to see how fast the pins really hit the deck. That's an interesting thought.
Is that something that costs money?
Thought that might be a neat stat, like a hang time on a punt or something like that, huh? Will it go? Will it go? Yes! Great shot by Bob Anderson. Watch this shot. Doesn't look like it has a chance right there, does it? Here comes the piece of wood, and it sweeps that 9-pin away.
Wow.
And a spare for Bob Anderson, and he desperately needed it. Now Gary Carrington's on 3 marks in a row. Can he break up the split? Tough shot coming for Gary. Not going to make it. Gary gave it a little dance, thought he had a chance. 9.
Not a tough spare at all, but you got to hit between the 2 pins for the best percentage on it. 2 and the 5.
Nice spare for Gary. He matches the Bob Anderson spare. So Gary leads by 14 pins. Both bowlers are working on marks with 2 frames to go. And needless to say, Bob Anderson needs to run the table. Hope that Gary does not mark. Working on a mark. Missed the head pin. 5 in the spare. He needed a big shot there, and he needs to convert this.
4 horsemen on the right side and pin in the back.
Look at that for a shot. Wow.
That is a tough shot to make. He's still alive.
He kicked the head pin. Watch the 1 pin go to the left wall and then come back off the wall. It knocked the pin out of the gutter, and that's the pin that took the 8 pin. Good first ball. Will it go? There it goes.
Hold on, folks. It's not over.
A double would really make things interesting.
Yeah. Bob's saying, I've been here in 3.5 years. I'm not going away quite that easily.
He's going to make Gary Carrington mark. Good first ball. He's not going to double, though. He is at 124. And a 125 for Bob Anderson, a 366 three-string total.
Better than his last appearance a couple years ago when he had 344.
Gary needs, does he need a mark? Let's do some quick arithmetic here. It's not going to take the 10 pin. The 10 pin still stands. He puts 9 in the mark there.
Well, he's got 355 if he misses this.
In the gutter, he's not going to count. That's not going to count. That's going to be a 9 box.
He needs a mark to win, Dick.
He's at 355. He needs a mark and a 1 to tie, a mark and a 2 to win. Just that simple. Wow. So the mark is the key for Gary Carrington.
Missing that 10 pin was huge.
Oh, brutal. He threw a good first ball. Can he break up the split? Look at what he has to show for it.
Needs to make it, or he's done.
Oh, my goodness. Look at Gary Carrington. Oh, my goodness. What a shot by Gary Carrington. Unbelievable shot by Gary Carrington. Look at Gary walk it off. How about that for a shot? That is just unbelievable. The 3, the 6, and the 7. He cut the 3 into the 7, just like you draw it up on the board. What a great shot by Gary Carrington to win the match.
Well, you said it earlier. He thrives on the pressure. Wow. He just proved it right there.
Just keep it out of the gutter here. There it is. He finishes with a strike. What a finish for Gary Carrington. A 126, a 9-pin win, an impossible spare to convert to win the match. Gary Carrington advances, beating Bob Anderson 375 to 366. All you can say after that is wow. We'll be back right after this on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Well, Gary Carrington defeats Bob Anderson by a score of 375 to 366. Bob Anderson's here. Runner-up money, $200. We got $50 in bonus money. And I guess all you can say when a guy makes a shot like that at the end, you tip your cap and you say, congratulations, not much you can do.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, when I saw the ball leave his hand, I knew he had a good shot of getting it. And, you know, You know, he deserved to win. He made a good shot to win. So
You put the pressure on him. You made a couple of big shots in the end. You had 3 marks in a row to finish the string, and the pressure's on him. And I guess he's been through the wars enough to respond to the pressure.
yeah, he's a great bowler, and you know, he did better and he won. I gave it a shot.
Bob, you were here 3.5 years ago, and so it's been a long time. Give folks out there a sense of how difficult it is to actually make the show. It's almost tougher than winning, you know, on TV.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, I make the finals a lot, but then you get there and you're up against, you know, there's 36 of the best bowlers there, and you're going to be in the top 5. It's really tough to get there.
Well, don't stay away as long next time.
Not to.
Bob Anderson, congratulations. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Bob, our runner-up here this afternoon. Now the bonus ball contest. We will draw a card out of the bin, and then Gary Carrington will try to match the number. We've got $30 in the jackpot. We'll see if we can get a winner here. This is Mr. Carl Schivoni of Lawrence, Massachusetts. Wants you to get a 9, Gary. And the way Gary's been making shots, wouldn't put it past him at all. Gary Carrington will try to get a 9. It is 7, 8, and not going to happen. A consolation prize from N&R Trophies in Winchendon, Massachusetts. Gary, come right over. And 375 to 366. You had them all the way there, huh?
Nah, I struggled a little bit today. Bob bowled real good today. He was 3 solid strings from him. He was on a head pin the whole time. He put a lot of pressure on me. It was a great match.
What's going through your mind? You know that he finished with 3 marks. You know in the last 2 boxes you need a mark. You get a 9-pin drop, and then you miss the spare by putting the ball in the gutter. You know you need the mark in the last frame, and what's going through your mind at that point?
Well, missing a 9-pin drop in the 9th, it's not the first time I've ever done that. And there's always that 10th box. That's the one, you know, you got to come through. It was a tough shot, and it went. That's good for me, anyway.
You showed a little bit of excitement there.
Well, yeah, well, you know, I was kind of nervous. I felt nervous today, the whole match. I don't know what it was, but I'm glad to get by that match.
I know what it is. It's the number 4 hole.
Yeah, the 4 hole.
Well, you have been a bit snake-bit the last 2 times in your last matches, losing with 420 and 421, so something's got to give sometime.
Yeah, I'll take this win anytime. 375 is not a bad score. You know, like I say, Bob bowled good. He was right in the match the whole way. It's a good match. I was just lucky to get through with it with the win.
A win is a win is a win. Gary Carrington, thanks very much. We'll see you next week.
Next week, Gary.
Gary wins $50 in bonus money, and he also has $50 for having the high string in the match, and more importantly, he climbs the ladder.
He does, and he gets the ball against somebody who's not been on TV before, but we've seen some great things from first-time bowlers. John Platt is here next week.
And we'll look forward to seeing you as well. Terrific match, terrific shot making today. We'll see more again next week. From Mike Morin and our entire crew, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. So long, everybody.